Linebacker, Smael
Mondon.
I
like it.
Yeah, Smael Mondon. He's a good player, a versatile skill set. A lot of people saw him as a strong side linebacker. He's got the ability to line up down on the ball, but he's more of it. Honestly, it's similar to the profile for Jahad Campbell. Now, he's got more experience as a pure off-ball guy. I'm just going to pull up my report on him really fast.
Please do.
6'2 1/4, 224 pounds, so a leaner frame. The first guy who actually put me onto him was Quay Walker, former Georgia linebacker, and then Nolan Smith went on Chris Long's podcast and was like, yeah, this is going to be a guy to watch down the line. This was after Nolan got drafted. History as a core 4 starter on special teams, but this is a 3-year starter for Kirby Smart in the middle of that 3-4 defense. Versatile off-ball piece with the flexibility to walk out in coverage or become a part of the pressure package up front. Long, rangy player with solid overall athleticism and play strength. He can match up in man against most combo body types, like a hybrid tight end or running back, and be effective. There's some blitzing value as well. I feel that he might be a little bit tapped on the defensively at that end. I don't know that he's going to be an every down type of player, but I think a specialty role would be important for him. Not sure that I see a player that can handle the instinct. I wanted to see a little bit more instincts overall. I thought he had tunnel vision in the box, didn't always read everything out perfectly. Obviously, Vic Fangio gives his stamp of approval here. I worried about the lack of physicality consistently in tight quarters as well. May just be a special teamer and a specialty sub piece, but the upside, there are tools there to be more than that.
6'2 1/2", 224, ran a 4.58, 130-inch broad jump, which is pretty good. So you're talking about those tools. 3-year starter, which in Georgia will matter to the Eagles. Do you think that this tells us anything different about Jahad Campbell?
Good question. I chuckled because my comp for him was Oren Burks.
Wow, interesting.
Okay. Smael Mondon.
Yeah.
This is a guy that you want to take a road trip with, baby.
Well, it'll make you smile, right? But no, this is someone who the draft process as an intriguing linebacker. I think
it's like 2 on the nose, right?
Yeah. Bob McGinn, his scouts had him as I think the number 2 linebacker.
Whoa.
I'm about to pull that up here.
Interesting.
Someone that
the scouts must not be in positions of power. If this is like the 15th linebacker drafted.
Yeah, let me make sure that is accurate here. But he's someone who, when I remember reading that, and I was like, oh wow. So pulling this up here, the number 1 linebacker was Jahad Campbell. Yeah, the number 2 linebacker was Smael Mondon, who the projected range from these scouts was 2nd, 3rd round.
Back 4 flats on the Cadillac, cash out the flip, my brother gon' handle that.
Yeah, Besh was laying on the ground, the ball came down, hit it right.
But just, Bob McGinn's respected in this area, led linebackers in the broad jump and the bench press. Quote, not as good as Quay Walker, but a good football player, said one scout. Georgia's done a good job producing linebackers. 2nd and 3rd round, he's gone. Really good run and chase player, good interior blitzer, needs to clean up some things going on behind him in coverage, but he's really good in first level coverage, being able to read and react. When you hear that profile, it's kind of similar to Nakobe Dean. Do you see similarities there?
Yeah, I thought Nakobe was better in the box. Personally, I think Nakobe was
not quite as explosive physically.
Not quite as explosive. I think he is more similar. He's more similar to Quay Walker. Honestly, he's not quite as big and long and rangy. But I thought that Quay, he was more traits than instincts and toughness and physicality. I thought this guy was more of like a finesse linebacker, like more of like your run and chase type. He can cover, he can do something, but he was kind of like, to me, almost like a little bit of a tweener, where I was like, I don't know where I feel best about him. He would be like a true strong side linebacker for me. But I know that there were some that did have like a higher grade on him. I just kind of struggled with how to place him. I watched him his first year as a starter, and then I watched him. I didn't watch him last year. I watched him again, obviously, in 2024. I didn't see like huge jumps in his game, from 2022 to 2024. So I was hoping that he'd get a little bit better, and he didn't quite get there.
That broad jump, that 130-inch broad jump in the elite sample of linebackers, that's towards the very top. It's 3rd, tied with Vic Beasley, just behind Bobby Wagner and Jamie Collins. So you see the explosiveness there. That speaks to the conversation we had about Howie Roseman on day 3 looking for carryable traits as potential starters. But to your point, a 3-year starter who didn't make super leaps, maybe that's a little bit of a disappointment, but that's why he's on the board in the 5th round.
Correct. Yeah. And look, at the end of the day,
where do you think he plays in this defense stylistically?
I think to me, like, I viewed him as an Oren Burks. So I view him as a pure stack linebacker. I do think that that's the best role. Burks, when he was coming out of Vanderbilt, he had some of those same traits. He could match up in space, but I just feel like he's more of your run and chase, like off the ball type of guy. I think he's more a cut from that mold.